Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you guys for stopping by. If it's your first time here, you are most definitely welcome. Today I'll share with you guys my groundnut soup recipe. I'm going to begin by showing you guys all the ingredients I will be using. The first, which I consider to be the most important ingredient, which is what actually gives the soup its name, groundnut soup, is groundnut. As you can see, that's our first ingredient, followed by tomatoes. I'm going to be using tomatoes to make my groundnut soup. And then some salt and seasoning, of course, some white pepper and curry powder. I use white pepper for almost everything. And then some grounded ginger and garlic paste. I grounded them together. And then I also have the stems of my green spices, which I'm going to blend. You guys are going to see that when I'm sharing the process of the cooking with you guys. So I use the stems and the leaves separately. So these are the stems I'm going to blend. For this soup, I'm going to be using trotters. You could use fish, chicken, whatever you prefer. These are the leaves of my green spices, which I have already chopped. I'm going to be using them at the end of my cooking. You guys are going to see that in the process. And then I'll also be using some sliced purple onions, some oil, which is optional because groundnut produces oil on its own. Now I'm just washing my trotters. I was just rubbing salt on the skin and then I poured hot water into it. Make sure it gets clean. Just wash and rinse and wash and rinse, and then we're going to begin our cooking. To begin our cooking, I'm going to spice or I'm going to season the trotters. I just added some white pepper, some curry powder, some salt, and then I'm going to put some seasoning cubes. I'll mix it up and rub it together. Then I'm just going to leave it alone for a couple of minutes. I always like to do this with meats. I like to just put the seasoning and then leave it a bit. I'm going to add like a sprinkle of onions just for flavor. And then I'm going to leave it a bit. I'll cover my pot, leave it a bit for like 5 minutes. Then I'm going to take it to the gas and start the cooking process. So I first of all do not put any water. I don't put anything into the trotters when I just put it on the fire. I allow it to steam a bit, and then now I go ahead to add some water. Now I'm going to blend everything. So how do I do it? My groundnuts, some people fry theirs, but I always prefer to boil mine. So the groundnut you saw earlier was boiled groundnut. I boiled it for 10 minutes. And then I'm just going to put my tomatoes, the stems of my green spices, and then the groundnut. I'm going to blend it together. So I don't know, I used to cook my groundnut soup before by frying the groundnut, but I just fell in love with this particular method, and since then I have been using it. So I blend everything together, and then after my trotters had been on the fire boiling on high heat for close to 15 minutes, I pour in the blended tomatoes and groundnut into the trotters. I blended twice, and this is the second blended groundnut and tomato that I'm pouring in. Then this is after 15 minutes of boiling. I came in with garlic and ginger. I was supposed to put it at the beginning, I forgot, so I just had to come in with it. But I'd already put white pepper, curry powder, and then salt and some seasoning cubes. And this part, actually, according to your taste, do you like ginger? Put ginger. Do you not like ginger? How do you like your salt to taste? So my pot has boiled for a total of like 15 minutes, and then I go in now to add my green spices. That's the leaves of the green spices. Remember, we blended the stems. I never throw away the stems of my green spices. I always blend it, even when I'm making stew. Some people say that it will make the stew to not be red or what, but I've never experienced that. I always blend the stems, not the leaves. The leaves I always add it at the end. So that's what I'm doing now. I just add the leaves of my green spices. I'm going to go ahead and add some onion as well. There were some onions that I added at the beginning when I was steaming the trotters, but now I'm going to add some more onions at the end, and then I'm going to add a little bit of oil. If you look at the corner of the pot, you'll see that the groundnut itself is producing a little bit of oil, but not much. There are times when I cook groundnut soup and I do not go ahead to add oil because the groundnut is very oily, and then you just see a lot of oil on the pot. But this particular one, I didn't get that. I didn't get a lot of that, so I added a little bit of oil. This is how I cook my groundnut soup. Try it and tell me how it turned out. Thank you for watching, and see you on